December is here and the holidays are right around the corner. We'll take a look at some of the holiday traditions around the state.
Plus, a pediatric medical clinic in Mesa aims to care for children in need. Stay tuned to find out how the clinic started.
And later, one high school student is making waves on and off his swim team.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Karen Marroquin.
And I'm Julia Sandor. Thank you for joining us. It's been almost 50 years since the Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade decision recognized a right to an abortion. But the justices took up a Mississippi case today that many think could finally overturn Roe. Emotions were high outside the court, as Kimberly Silvario Bautista reports from our Washington bureau.
As justices inside the court heard arguments that could lead to an overhaul of abortion rights in the U.S., hundreds of protesters from both sides of the debate were outside the court today making sure their voices are heard.
Let me tell you, my friend, you need to come out after lunchtime.
And everybody's out here. Emotions are high, you know, people have their reasons.
Pro-lifers like John Williams made up the largest part of the crowd outside the court, where they hope the justices will listen to their decades-long plea to overturn Roe v. Wade. For many, it's a moral as well as a legal question.
We believe what God says, that every life matters, and that life begins at conception, and that thou shalt not kill.
The protesters were here hours before the hearing, waving signs and banners, singing, and in some cases, praying. The protest was largely peaceful, but occasionally tensions flared. Hannah Hayes is an abortion rights supporter who came from Michigan to rally. She said she feels liberated in expressing her voice and opinion.
I'm pro-choice because I believe that we should just be able to choose. I don't really understand why it's not the concern of other people what we do with our body and our life.
Noting the tension outside the court, Hayes said it's unfortunate that the issue of abortion can't be debated civilly.
At the end of the day, whether someone is pro-life or pro-choice, I really don't stand for hate. And I think that hate really needs to end.
With the conservative majority now on the court, many observers believe this will be the case to overturn Roe, something Williams is looking forward to.
We're hoping that the Supreme Court does the right thing. We're hoping that that this leads to the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Hayes says she is ready for any outcome.
I'm not really sure, but I'm not worried either way because what I stand for will never be quieted.
After 2 hours of arguments today, the justices appear to be sympathetic to the Mississippi law. The court is also considering a Texas case that would all but ban abortions in that state. But decisions in those cases are not likely before next year. In Washington, Kimberly Silvario Bautista, Cronkite News.
President Joe Biden put travel restrictions in place in an effort to delay the arrival of the Omicron variant in the U.S. But it may already be too late, according to a recent White House news conference.
As some of you may have heard, the California and San Francisco Departments of Public Health and the CDC have confirmed that a recent case of COVID-19 among an individual in California was caused by the Omicron variant.
This is the first case of the Omicron variant to be reported in the U.S. The individual tested positive on November 29th, but none of their close contacts have tested positive yet.
The city of Tucson reports almost 100% compliance with the federal vaccine mandate. According to city officials, currently 99% of city employees have been partially vaccinated and met the December 1st deadline for the first dose. 89% of all Tucson employees are fully vaccinated. According to an ordinance approved last month in the city of Tucson, any employees that aren't vaccinated by end of day today or received approved accommodations could be fired. The deadline for the federal mandate is January 4th.
With the Omicron variant now in the U.S., the CDC is urging people to get their booster shot. The director of the CDC says there are more tools to fight the variant than we had this time last year. Roughly 36% of eligible Americans have yet to get their booster.
A Mesa elementary school is bringing pediatric medical care to underprivileged students. Cronkite News health reporter Camila Williams explains how it all got started with one mother who wanted to honor her daughter and her legacy as a teacher.
When you walk into this elementary school, you go out the door, make a left, and straight down the breezeway to door 36. Behind that door, you'll find physician assistants treating the next possible doctor, truck driver, or teacher.
We do a bend?
This is Simon's Clinic. It was started with the help of Dr. Harvey Simon to help underserved kids get the medical screenings they need without ever having to leave school.
And I believe very strongly that coming to the schools and coming to where the children are is the best way of reaching them.
The majority of students at Emerson Elementary are economically disadvantaged and students of color. Many don't have access to health care, so coming to Simon's Clinic is a blessing. While the clinic is in Dr. Simon's name, it wouldn't have been possible without Joan Leafman. Leafman is the mother of Corbin Leafman and founder of Corbin's Legacy. Her daughter was a teacher who worked with underserved kids. She was diagnosed with breast cancer at 26 and passed away 4 years later.
She very specifically asked to be remembered by how she lived and not why she died.
Leafman decided to honor her daughter by working to reduce food insecurity and medical inequity among school children.
In Maricopa County, 1 in 4 children go to bed hungry every single night. The same is true with medical assistance. 1 in 6 children don't get the medical care that they need every day.
In addition to the clinic, each week volunteers fill backpacks with meals for children to take home. When COVID hit, the team was trained to administer vaccinations. Their volunteers immunized 4,500 people. At Simon's Clinic, children are screened for vision, dental, and other health problems. If a follow-up is required, parents can get help at Adelante Healthcare, free of charge.
Making the parents feel like they have a medical home has done wonders for academic achievement, lack of absenteeism, and better behavior in the classrooms.
Emerson principal Krista Arbogast dreamed of housing a clinic at her school, but she worried about pushback.
I really thought that because it had never been done before, that along the way that somebody was going to stop me, that somebody was going to say, oh, let's step back, we're going to have doctors come in and screen students on campus. And nobody stopped us. Everybody thought this was a great idea. Everybody supported it. It seemed like an idea that was long overdue.
And an idea long overdue has gone a long way towards helping those most in need. In Mesa, Camila Williams, Cronkite News.
Now that young children can be vaccinated for COVID-19, Leafman and Dr. Simon hope to open a vaccination pod for kids early next year. You can learn more about Corbin's Legacy on its website, corbinslegacy.org.
Coming up, the spread of misinformation has been on the rise since the start of the pandemic. However, this group is more vulnerable to receiving incorrect information. We'll explain how to prevent this next.
November broke records in the valley for most days over 80 degrees. After the break, will those temperatures continue into December?
The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication's Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
Everyone has secrets. Are you protecting someone?
I have no choice.
You do have a choice. You're looking at him.
That's amazing. We could be standing on top of a T-Rex right now.
Women demanded new space and pushed the boundaries of what being a lady means.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Become a member of this PBS station, sign in, and start streaming today.
I was so excited when I learned that I was going to be the next moderator of Washington Week. I was incredibly lucky to be mentored by Gwen Ifill, and what that gave to me was this confidence that I could be my full self and that I was deserving of whatever spaces I was in.
Welcome to Washington Week.
I also feel this great joy in taking the helm of Washington Week, knowing that I can mold it and make it my own, but also make sure that it is still within the legacy and the tradition that made it so great for all of these years.
Misinformation has been on the rise over the past few years, especially with the pandemic and politically charged climate. However, reporter Diana Quintero tells us about a group that is even more vulnerable to the rapid spread of misinformation online.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, Latinos have contributed to more than half of the total U.S. population growth over the past 10 years, and they make up almost 19% of the population. That population is gaining in influence and economic power, which is why the findings of a new report showing the increase of misinformation presented in websites and media with high Latino audiences is alarming.
Obviously, misinformation has been like a hot topic really since 2016.
The rise of misinformation is not new. However, a new Nielsen report shows that 28% of news websites and platforms, where Latinos make up 20% of the audience, contained content marked as biased, mixed, conspiracy, or pseudoscience. That's a 16 percentage point difference compared to platforms where the Latino audience is smaller.
It's pretty well known that WhatsApp in particular, other closed messaging groups are really popular in the Latinx community, and those places can be difficult to track misinformation just because of the way that they are constructed.
Roschke mentions that another cause may be due to most platforms being better at fighting misinformation in English than in Spanish.
And you know, and there may be some cultural differences, and this may be true for all cultures in terms of how we, who we listen to and who we give our attention to.
ASU student Destiny Gloria Gardillo says that she sees misinformation spread a lot among her family.
Your friends are family, and like your family's friends are family, so like we're all trying to like trust each other and stuff, because that's kind of like the root of Latinos and the Mexican culture.
Misinformation continues to spread on a daily basis, and some even choose to avoid social media completely.
Yeah, well, I don't really use Facebook because of that, because of misinformation in general.
However, Roschke says that there are steps that can be taken to prevent its growth.
But I think it's those moments where you get caught up in a piece of information, just to kind of, that's a great time to sort of stop and say, you know, I don't know, let me just double check this. And then you can help by sharing that, like then in turn, bringing the good information into that group chat or sharing that on Facebook so that people are properly informed.
There are organizations that work to debunk misinformation in Spanish, such as the local organization Conecta Arizona. However, Roschke says it is important to do your research before sharing information. In the newsroom, Diana Quintero, Cronkite News.
It was incredibly warm in the valley this November, breaking the record of 24 days of 80-degree or higher temperatures set in 1949. And those high temperatures are expected to stay in December. With a high-pressure system over Phoenix, we are likely to stay in the 80s as we begin December. And today, we're on record watch again with a projected high of 83, which would tie the current record set in 1949.
The record high for tomorrow is 84 degrees and was set in 2017. Milan Andrade is in the Weather Center to let us know if we'll be close to that.
Happy first day of December, everybody. If you're anything like me, you're trying your best to get into that holiday and cozy season, but unfortunately, Arizona is making this pretty hard to do, sitting at the nation's high of 83 degrees. And as we go into the highs for tomorrow, we'll notice this southwest region is going to be the hottest in the state. They seem to be stuck in the air of shoulder pads because it's all 80s down here. And as we go into the lows of tomorrow, that same area is going to get a little chillier, but nothing like our friends up north. Anything below 32 degrees is considered freezing. So if you are in the Grand Canyon and Window Rock area, make sure to keep those layers nearby because you're going to need them. As we go into the evening planner tonight in the Phoenix area, a little bit of cloud coverage at 6 p.m., but those clouds seem to be going away by 7 all the way to 10 p.m. tonight. Great weather all around. If you're planning to go outside and get some fresh air, it's a great night to do so. But if you don't have time to do that tonight, the rest of the weekend is a great time to do that as well. The weeks of the high is 83 for Arizona and nothing below 74 degrees. Also, nothing lower than 50, which is a great time to go get some fresh air, take some walks outside, day or night. Happy holidays, and in the Cronkite News Weather Center, I'm Milan Andrade.
I'm Zachary Larson. Coming up after the break, I'll have your Cronkite Sports Report. High school swimmer turned hero. We'll show you how he became a leader both in and out of the pool.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go, lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
Welcome back. I'm Zachary Larson. Here's your Cronkite Sports Report. The two teams with the NBA's best records, the Suns and Warriors, battled it out last night, with Phoenix coming up on top 104-96. The victory gave the Suns their 17th straight, tying the franchise's longest winning streak. The defense was on full display in the win. The Suns held Golden State under 100 points for the first time all season. And MVP candidate Steph Curry shot just 4 for 21. The Suns' win streak ties the 14th longest streak in NBA history. And get this, they would have to double this streak to break the 1972 Lakers record of 33. Though the Suns won the game, All-Star guard Devin Booker left midway through the second quarter with a hamstring injury. Coach Monty Williams credited the team for stepping up as a whole after Book went down.
I just think it's an NBA mentality that you don't try to do what Book does. It's going to come from a team, holistic effort, because Book's a different type of a player. But Book was in the middle of the hallway when we came out at halftime, high-fiving everybody, good spirit, and I thought that gave our guys encouragement. You know, that's why you work on your game, so you can step up and make shots and make plays when someone goes down.
The Chaparral High School swim teams have been a powerhouse program in the state for years. I had a chance to talk to one swimmer on the team who has become a hero out of the pool. It was 32 years in the making, but Chaparral broke one of the longest title runs in state history when they won the boys Division I state championship in swimming last year, becoming the first school to win that wasn't named Brophy since 1988.
Something that we had been pushing for and trying for years. All the guys that had come before me, that's the one thing they'd always talked about, is like, that's the creme de la creme, you know, winning the state championship, beating Brophy.
The Firebirds have built a sustainable program over the past decade that has sent athletes not only to the Olympics, but off to college as well.
We have about, anywhere from 5 to 10% of kids that will swim in college that, coming out of their senior year.
There is one senior that has taken over as a leader, but not with his performance in the pool. It's his passion that makes him stand out.
He shows up at our state meet, and he's our passion energy guy that shows so much passion to the team, and he gets the boys and girls rolling.
Zach Haugen's leadership was on full display in July of 2020 when he dove off a cliff to help save 2 women from drowning near a rocky coast in San Diego.
And I look down and I see 2 girls down in this water. It's about 20, 25 feet below. And I can see this little girl, and she's pushing down the head of this older girl. And I immediately recognized, I was like, wow, they're drowning. I was like, I have to go do something. There was no second thought about my own safety.
Zach's mother, Alexia, felt he always had the instinct to help someone out.
I wasn't surprised at all. I just thought that's Zachary doing what Zachary does, and he just was going to help somebody out. He always said, I always want to help somebody out if they need something.
But it was in October of 2020 when Zach and his family's lives would change forever. His father, Brian, passed away after a long battle with Alzheimer's.
We had to start earlier because of the illness, of coping with it and learning to function as a family without him being a stronghold.
Now, Zach swims in honor of his late father. After watching him struggle with day-to-day tasks, he was happy he didn't have to watch him suffer any longer.
Not like he was here one day, gone the next. This was 5 years of his body and his brain shutting down. However difficult it is for us, we're just super happy. He's not in pain anymore.
A year later, the Haugans believe he would be thrilled to see how far the family has come.
Like he was like their biggest fan, and he loved being a dad. So his kids were a huge sense of pride for him.
Okay, your mark. For Zach, he won't be swimming competitively after high school. Instead, he hopes to do what he loves, which is helping people by becoming a firefighter.
I want to be there for people when they need me. When people are in need of help or in need of someone to be there, I want to be that person they call, and I want to be the first one on the scene that can help them.
It may not be long before we see more heroics out of Zach, but his leadership and personality will certainly never be forgotten at Chaparral. The Cardinals are coming off a bye week, and they will head to Chicago to take on the Bears this Sunday. Coach Cliff Kingsbury said that both Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins were limited in practice today. The Cards are currently 9-2 and sit on top of the NFC standings. And that does it for today's Cronkite Sports Report. Back to you, Karen and Julia.
The holidays are right around the corner, and so are annual Valley traditions. Coming up, a look at how APS is preparing for their annual light parade.
Cronkite News is more than your local news station. Through our innovative ideas, we create new ways to connect with our viewers and have their stories be heard. Our cutting-edge technology allows us to take a deeper dive into seeking the truth and delivering new perspectives. Stay up to date on top Arizona stories anytime on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook at Cronkite News.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons, your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing. Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here we go. Lights up. Whoa.
As artists, we conduct our educations in public. You can never know whether it's going to be a success. One just has to risk it.
It's you and the work and the place. It's a very particular relationship.
Here's our lens. Tell us what you think.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
After a year of hiatus, Arizona Public Service is bringing back their Electric Light Parade. This year marks their 34th parade in Phoenix, so I went to see how APS is preparing for the event.
It's been a Phoenix tradition for decades, and we're thrilled to be back to bring holiday cheer to all of our communities.
Susan Mulligan is the events manager at APS, and she helps organize the light parade. The APS Electric Light Parade is an annual event that brings family fun and a lot of lights to Arizona communities. APS has several vehicles that they decorate for the parade, which includes bucket trucks, electric vehicles, and a fire truck. But a big event like this takes a lot of work.
Definitely lots of logistical planning, working with the city. So many groups have been coming together over the last couple of months to make sure that everything's in order and that it's going to be a great night for everybody.
Some local organizations that help are the Arizona Cardinals, the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Phoenix Suns. And Suns broadcaster Al McCoy is the Grand Marshal of this year's parade. But Mulligan says APS's goal is that the event will bring hope and joy during the holiday season.
I have loved this parade for all of its 34 years of existence as a parade goer and now obviously as part of the event. Honestly, my favorite is probably seeing the faces of the children along the route. They are so excited that this joy on their faces is amazing.
The parade is this Saturday night at 7 p.m. APS recommends everyone to come to the event early and practice social distancing. APS is also holding an electric light parade in Payson and Globe this Saturday and will host other holiday events throughout Arizona until December 11th.
That's it for your Cronkite News tonight. Thank you for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.